I'm sure it is to nobody's surprise that in the dance team world, there are three major players right now. You have UDA, known for their viral moments on TikTok. A lot of the big dogs, LSU, Minnesota, Ohio, go and compete at UDA. And then you have NDA, which is another place where a lot of big major teams go and compete. But then you also have another alternative, another place where big major teams compete, and that is Dance Team Union. Now, not only are they an incredible sponsor to my show, but they have been creeping up on these varsity brands for the past few years. And today, not only are we talking about these three events, we're also talking about the possibility of sanctioning events in the dance team world. New conversation has not quite yet surfaced, but definitely a conversation I think is going to be surfacing soon. But then we're also going to bring in two choreographers, coaches, studio owners who have been to all three of these events, dominated at all three of these events, and have their opinions as well too. So hold on tight and let's get on to the show.
Hey, my name is Kyle Rush, and you are watching the No Counts Given podcast.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the No Counts Given podcast, the premier podcast for dance team. I'm your host, Kyle. Now, if you are a choreographer or former choreographer or dancer or studio director or owner or any of the sorts, I feel like this episode is definitely going to be one that is either going to help you navigate, or two, just hear an additional perspective when it comes to the dance team world. You heard me say it in the intro, three major components in the dance team world right now, and major players and companies that are just really dominating are Dance Team Union, NDA, and UDA. And whenever people are looking for an alternative from one to the other, it's always those three that people debate on. And there are huge differences that play into the two, but there are also similarities as well too. So the first part of today's episode, I have to fact check myself on some things that happened in the interview that I just want to correct or expand on, just so that way people who are either in the dance team realm know what I'm talking about, don't know what I'm talking about, one, could have a further understanding, and two, could just help. It's going to help paint the picture for the interview just a little bit further.
Dance Team Union regional competitions are unlike any other. DTU has created an atmosphere that is not only friendly and competitive, but brings your community together to support one another in a sport you all share and love. DTU values innovation and the determination to create. Your team spend hours perfecting material and pushing the boundaries for choreography. It does not go unnoticed at Dance Team Union. At DTU, you do not go home empty-handed. They award placements in every division for every routine, select special awards to standout routines, and offer partial paid bids to our Dance Team Union National Championships and All-Star Worlds with their partners at the Open Championship Series. So what are you waiting for? Find out when they will be heading to a city near you for their 10th season by visiting www.danceteamunion.com.
Now, if you are an audio listener and you have the chance to switch to video, I definitely would, just for the first part of this podcast episode, because I just have some things that I'm showing. However, if you're not able to, you're driving, don't worry about it. I'm going to explain it as much as I can. This video is created for educational and entertainment purposes only. All information presented is sourced directly from uda.varsity.com, nda.varsity.com, and Dance Team Union. While Dance Team Union is a sponsor of this I almost said child. While Dance Team Union is a sponsor of this channel, the content of this video is presented in a neutral and unbiased manner with the goal of providing accurate knowledge and fair insight across all organizations. Okay, so in 1996, NDA steps into the scene. Now, to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure if this is competitions, if it's camps, if it's just an organization or a company as a whole. It's not very clear on their website, but 1976 is when NDA was established. A couple years later, 1980, UDA steps into the picture. Now, I'm pretty sure I read online that it was formerly known as universal dance camps. They just did the summer camps for dance teams, and then it turns into regionals, which then turns into nationals. And between 1980 and 2016, some companies did try to compete with these two in terms of camps, in terms of regionals, high school nationals, or college nationals, but no one was really able to just step to the plate. 2016 comes around, Dance Team Union starts off, and they are fresh. They're fresh into the game. To be now going on to its 10th year, Dance Team Union is probably the only company out there right now that could keep UDA and NDA on their toes. They're competitive, they're innovative. When it comes to just the testimonials that come from Dance Team Union alone, it's clear why they are a strong competitor against UDA and NDA. Now, just to say, I talk about it like they're competing against each other. To be quite honest with you, I guarantee you they're not even worried about each other. But it is rumored, this is talked about in the dance team world, in the dance team industry, that this year, 2026 Nationals, Dance Team Union High School Nationals are supposed to be the largest out of the three. That is not factual. Do not quote me on that. That is just what is talked about amongst my peers in the dance team world. That we all kind of think Dance Team Union is going to pass UDA in numbers for high school nationals this year. So I wanted to put together these comparisons. Like these are like selling points, if you ask me. Like if I was a coach looking into where I want to take my team, these are the selling points that I think each bring. Now, when it comes to high school nationals and college nationals, all three companies bring both of those and have a great clientele attached to them. They're big competitions, so you're getting large divisions. So high school nationals and college nationals, all three of them bring. Now, NDA, I'm pretty sure high school nationals are going to be in Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember a time when they were in like Texas or like Dallas and then Florida. So I'm pretty sure I would still consider what they do with destination nationals. I know this past season, 2025, they were in Orlando because it was the same time Dance Team Union nationals were going on. And you could literally walk across a bridge and you could go from Dance Team Union, walk across a bridge, you're at NDA nationals. It was quite insane. But yeah, so all three also have destination nationals. Now, what's different with Dance Team Union amongst the two is that Dance Team Union, you get freedom and music choices. Now, if you're not a part of the dance team world, listen, music licensing has had our dance team industry in a chokehold for the past almost 10 years. Or this might be the 10th season or ninth season that we're in this music licensing pandemic. What that means is that, and you're going to hear us talk about it in the interview, but we get like kids bop music for dance team. You have to go on a website. There's very few. I can only think of two off the top of my head that I think are the only ones that exist. Our music tracks and Unleash the Beats. Unleash the Beats. You go on there, Unleash the Beats. It's $20 a song. And Power Music Tracks, it's $15 a song. So a lot of these teams, like if you're doing a master mix, you're using 5, 6, 7, 8 songs, which could cost you up to 160. No, if you're using 8 songs, that's going to cost you up to $160 just for licensing. Then you got to pay for a music editor and you have to mix this music that isn't original or authentic. It's just, it is, we're in a pandemic of music with the licensing. And I just wish there was some way to fix it. I wish there was some way to fix it. Again, we talk about it in the interview. We're gonna go on it some more. Now, another thing that Dance Team Union offers that UDA and NDA does not offer is they have something called the battles. So throughout the weekend of competitions, or not competitions, sorry, of nationals. So this would be for the College Classic, Dance Team Union College event, and their Dance Team Union Nationals. Now, again, I'm not the Dance Team Union spokesperson. Okay, they are a great sponsor of mine. I love having them as a sponsor. I'm not the DTU spokesperson. So do not quote me on everything that I say. If I do get something wrong, as always, I will correct myself. Now, for the battle, now I'm pretty sure it's people in the company that are choosing these teams to compete in the battle. And when you go into the battle, you're competing not based off a score sheet. So I was even told that people, so you'll take your competition routine, the same one you performed at nationals, you'll take that to the battle. I've heard that people have even changed things in their original choreography, intended to compete in the battle just to get that more crowd wow effect, because the battle is all based off your overall impression. We're not looking at your execution, we're not looking at your musicality, we're just looking at that overall impression. How did you leave us feeling? How did you leave the judges feeling, the audience feeling? What was their reactions? Like, it's all based off that. I think it is incredible. It is beautiful. It is like a staple that DTU has now that I don't think NDA or UDA can compete with. However, with UDA, they get the ESPN coverage, okay? Like, they get to be shown on ESPN after the event. So let me tell you, okay? The teams will go. This is high school and college. They're going to Florida. They're competing at the ESPN Center at Disney World, and there are ESPN cameras there. They're filming. They're getting the top threes. They're following stories, and then 2 months later, I think it is. There's some time later in between that happening and it actually being aired. They show it on ESPN. It is incredible. It's great exposure. It brings a level of pressure that NDA and DTU just can't bring quite yet. But yeah, so if you want to be featured on ESPN, you got to go to UDA. However, all because you go to UDA doesn't mean you're going to be featured on that ESPN, right? Like I said, they're following stories, they're showing top five or top three or something. Oh, another thing that I think is important to add on, I did not add this on here, is that UDA is also the only one out of the three that split their high schools into two separate divisions. So you have D1 and you have D2. This year in 2026 is going to be the first time that UDA is actually splitting up their high school nationals. D1 is going to be on one weekend, D2 is going to be on another weekend. If you are competing at UDA nationals, I would love to know your opinion on this. I've heard mixed opinions. I know it has not happened yet. This is going to be the first year. So this is kind of like a make or break for UDA. If it goes well, that might be successful for them. But if it doesn't go well and customers are still feeling like they're not being heard, I don't see it ending well for them, to be quite frank with you. Now, something that UDA and NDA do that Dance Team Union does not do is that they require pay to play. Now, what I mean by pay to play is you have to go to a regionals event or a camp in order to go to the nationals event or be qualified to compete at nationals. So NDA and UDA, I'm pretty sure it's both the same. You have to go to a camp, you have to get a bid, or you have to go to regionals and you have to get a bid. Now, mixed opinions about it, because on one side, people say, in order to go to nationals, it should be the teams that score like a 75 up or an 80 up. In my opinion, I feel like if we were going to go that route, it needs to be teams that are scoring like 87.5 high range. Make it as competitive as it possibly gets if it's not about the money. If it's not about the money, my opinion. Okay. So, but on the flip side, you know, even if you go to a regionals or you go to a camp, eventually you're going to go to nationals. They're going to take you to their nationals. It is very rare. And in fact, to be quite honest with you, I've ever even heard of a team not qualifying for nationals. So yeah, those two are pay to play. Let me see. Anything off the top? They all three offer college camps and home camp, or college camps, home camps, and summer camps, destination summer camps. But those are like the main. These are like the main differences with all three of them. Okay. Now, a quick fact check, because when I was editing the video, I heard this and I had to jot it down. And this is the research that I found. Because it said in the video that the question is proposed to my guest as, how can a team go to Dance Team Union one weekend, the next weekend go to UDA, then the following weekend go to an NDA, but get three different scores? There's no changes in the routine. Execution looks the same, but three different scores. And of course, the quick and easy answer is that dance is just biased. I hate to say it, but judging, and you're gonna have your preferences. Like, we get it. That's just dance. That's art. We have our preferences. Um, but the question that was returned back to me was that UDA and NDA should not be any different because they use the same score sheet. And I didn't think that was true. And if you have more knowledge than me, please let me know. Like send me a DM or write a comment down and let me know if I'm incorrect about this because I want to make sure that I'm always speaking as factual as I possibly can. But based off the uda.varsity.com website and nda.varsity.com website, what I found was that they do not use the same score sheet. And their score sheets are actually, to be quite honest with you, quite confusing. Uh, I think it should be like a standardized thing that 100-point spreads should be the industry standard. Like, why are our scores having to go to 120? Or, like, for example, here for school hip hop, it's out of a 60. So they're scoring out of 60. Performance, uniformity, quality of movement, authenticity, choreography, staging, which I think like for a new coach, like something like this would be great. Starting at like a 60-point spread and then working your way up. But their hip hop is different from their team performance, which it should be. I don't think categories should all have the same score sheet, but their team performance, I believe it's out of a 90. So of course that's a little different because they're wanting you to include that kick, hip hop, pom, jazz, and they're scoring you on that. So if you're missing one, you're going to miss out on some scores. So that makes sense, right? Now, the UDA score sheet, there are two separate score sheets, okay? So you have your execution score sheet, which is based out of 60. You have your 60-point spread. And then you have your choreography score sheet, which is out of that 60-point spread. Now, there are other companies that do this, following varsity companies that do this. And in the beginning, when I remember as a coach in the beginning, when I was getting this two separate execution and choreography score sheet, it confused me. I it, I grew to like it as a coach, but I never grew to love it as a coach. Um, yeah, that's just me. If you notice something though, look at the top of both of these score sheets. You don't see a category. So you don't see like hip hop choreography score sheet or pom choreography score sheet or kick choreography score sheet or same for execution. It is the same score sheet across the board. Any category, you are going to use this score sheet, which I have my own challenges with. Like I said, literally a few seconds ago, I do think each category deserves its own score sheet. I think this confuses people, especially if you're new entering in the coaching scene. It could be very confusing how you want to interpret that. But that's just my own opinion. Maybe you might love it and you might get it 100%. That is great. I'm not there yet. Okay. Now, Dance Team Union, the college classic. One thing I enjoy about their score sheets is that it's the same across the board. Your hip hop score sheet is going to be the same for high school, which is going to be the same for college, which is going to be the same for all star. Wait, don't. I could be wrong there, actually. Like I said, I'm not the Dance Team Union spokesperson. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it is the same for All Star. I'm like 99.9% sure, but that 0.01% of me is hanging on to that doubt because I could be wrong. I could be wrong. However, that is something that I do enjoy. I enjoy that it is the same for hip hop to pom, etc., 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 etc. The next thing I enjoy is that it is as transparent as they get. I'm not going to zoom in, but if you were to go and look at these score sheets, you're going to read each caption and have a full understanding of what is needed from you. There should be no questions after that. So all three of these events, DTU, NDA, UDA, all use different score sheets. They're all different. So yes, if I was going to take a team to one of these competitions, essentially, yes, the scores are probably going to be different. Um, Now, with that being said, there is this conversation that is going to be floating around probably soon, and it's sanctioned events. Okay, what would it look like in the dance team world if you took all of these companies? You took UDA, you took DTU, you took NDA, you took all those varsity brands, all those mom and pop companies, independent event producers, like you took all of them and you sanctioned something around them. Okay, so then they're all following the same age grids, the same roles, the same score sheets, the same captions, the same definitions. If you go to one competition one weekend, you go to the next one the next weekend, you're not going to have any questions. There's going to be full transparency, I would hope. But what would that eventually look like? Now, essentially, we do have sanctioned events. Varsity brands are sanctioned events. Dance Team Union, sanctioned events. USASF, IASF, all of these are sanctioned events. Okay. Like, I remember a time, this is like 2015 era, I want to say, or 2016, like right when Dance Team Union was stepping into the scene, Varsity was buying like all of these small independent brands, just buying them, bam, 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 buying them, getting them. And then, of course, now they're following those sanctioned events from Varsity. So it makes me think of like, well, what a time like that would be. And I don't think that's a time I look forward to seeing or ever happening, nor do I think it'll ever happen. I don't think anyone's going to have to say, especially for someone like DTU, to have to say of like, well, too bad you can't have these events because you're not sanctioned with us. Like, it's just not going to happen. Now, why I know the conversation is slowly approaching us and someone's going to start presenting something. One, I recently heard it at an event I was at of a company owner who is talking about this and wanting to work this into the dance team world. And quite frankly, I just don't see it being successful. I don't see it being successful. I'm sure that there could be like another USASF or another varsity or another whatever. But to get all of these companies together and have them follow at the same rules and regulation, it's just most likely not going to happen. We slowly kind of bring up sanctioning events in this interview. So I wanted to expand on that a little bit more because it could get a little confusing. The last thing that I want to expand on before we get into the interview are intermediate divisions. Now, intermediate divisions, for those that don't know dance team, okay, you are taking these, I want to say, teams that are new into their dance journey in general. They might be first, second, third, fourth year. I wouldn't say fourth, maybe like first, second, third year dancers. And it's a chance for teams to enter in a less competitive division, and then hopefully, if you're working the system correctly, moving up to those advanced divisions. Now, I emphasize that because this is what I see get lost in intermediate divisions, and I worry is going to happen in the intermediate division at all competitions. Actually, to be very transparent for a second, Dance Team Union does not offer intermediate divisions. UDA and NDA do offer intermediate divisions. Okay. Now, I'm on the side of the fence where I say, if you're going to go and compete against the big dogs, go and compete against the big dogs. If you want to enter yourself into competition, go and compete at competition. Be okay with not making finals or semifinals 2, 3 years in a row. And then you make semifinals, then you're slowly making it into the finals round and you're growing your team and your reputation across the competition. That's what I believe in as a competitor. That's also what I had to do as a competitor. So I get it on that side. I can see how the intermediate division would be helpful for coaches that want to give their dancers an opportunity to win. But at the end of the day, we all say it, competition should not be just about winning. Period. Period. So intermediate divisions, we touch on a little bit in this interview. So if you hear us talk about intermediate divisions, you get it. Intermediate divisions is just a less competitive division for new emerging dancers. Let's get into the interview. Let's get on to the episode. But of course, we have to say thank you to our sponsor, Dance Team Union.
Dance Team Union regional competitions are unlike any other. DTU has created an atmosphere that is not only friendly and competitive, but brings your community together to support one another in a sport you all share and love. DTU values innovation and the determination to create. Your team spend hours perfecting material and pushing the boundaries for choreography. It does not go unnoticed at Dance Team Union. At DTU, you do not go home empty handed. They award placements in every division for every routine, select special awards to standout routines, and offer partial paid bids to our Dance Team Union National Championships and All Star Worlds with their partners at the Open Championship Series. So, what are you waiting for? Find out when they will be heading to a city near you for their 10th season by visiting www.danceteamunion.com.
Troy, I didn't know you were involved with the Jabberwockies. That was new news to me.
Oh yeah, I don't lead with it. I
Oh,
He
don't.
doesn't lead off first.
Here,
I don't know why.
here's my
I would be
portfolio.
that'd be the only thing in my bio.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like especially in the industry that I'm working in,
Oh,
or
for
like we
sure.
work in,
Yeah.
is like, hey, let me see some of your work, and I'll present Jabberwocky's stuff, and it's disingenuous because it's a team effort, and then like, oh, I want to see you dance. I'm like, 9 years of my life behind a mask on stage. It's like
Yeah.
it's disingenuous. I'd rather people love me for my choreography, the things that we put together, and the product we put on stage, rather than something I worked for. I mean, the guys are amazing. The avenue that they provided for us, nothing but good things. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I want to sell me for me.
Yeah. With Playground, this is your 10th year, correct?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a big deal this season, like with our showcase. We're gonna
Yeah.
do a huge alumni thing, and
10 years as a team,
Amazing.
but we've only been doing All Star. This will
this
be
will
our
be our
third
third year
third
for
year.
doing
That's what
all.
I was gonna ask when you guys switched
Yeah.
over to All Star. So when you guys before you guys switched over to All Star, were you like community competitions like bridge, vibe, like those, or did you guys
Yeah.
do like the studio round?
No, we did studio for a little bit just because we were housed out of a studio here in Vegas, so we kind of like combined forces during COVID and like the couple years after, just to compete, just to have somewhere to compete. But before that, we would do Hip Hop International.
Body Rock.
We did Monsters a few
Monsters.
times. Yeah, Body Rock Juniors. We were gonna do Vibe Juniors, but I don't know if scheduling wise it didn't work.
That's
Yeah.
really the reason why we pivoted, is because a lot of those community competitions, one, it's like very steep competition level, so we're not guaranteed like some of these California crews, and then two, they let us know like a month before,
Like, oh, you got accepted.
so we got to organize
Shows
Oh,
next
no
month.
way.
20, 30 dancers. We got to put a routine together. We got to find out where they're staying, what our costuming is. We just don't have the
Yeah.
resources, especially traveling like that. It
And
just
we're also not, like he said, like all the California teams, they're all like amazing, obviously, but
Yeah.
they're gonna get accepted.
for
Yeah.
us, we don't
Yeah.
know. We
So it's kind of up in the air, and it's like, well, what if we don't get accepted? But I already booked the Airbnb and we already got
Yeah.
costumes, it's just it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
No kidding. And all those are there any of those competitions like in Vegas, or did you guys have to travel over here to SoCal to compete at those?
We have Prelude. We have a Prelude
Oh,
here.
Preludes in Vegas?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, but for the most part, we would travel. The most recent one we did was Maxed Out in 2023
Mm.
or 2022.
That's a newer
Was it
one, isn't it?
2022?
Maxed
No,
out?
it's been around for a
No?
while. It's
We
just
competed
not
at
as
it when we were
Okay.
dancing
I
on
just
High Profile back in
recently
the
heard.
day.
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
popular as like a Vibe or like a
It's in Alhambra.
Body
What
Rock.
tower is it?
909.
I thought that was
Uh,
Bridge. No, that's Team Millennium.
909.
Yeah, 909 powers maxed
I'm
out.
pretty sure. It's just hard for us to commit to those things. When WAD would come here, or
Oh, we would do World Dance,
Prelude,
yeah.
we could do those things, but they were too far. There wasn't enough
Interest here?
interest, not enough teams that could like facilitate an entire competition route here, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kind of just died out, if you want to be honest. Prelude's the only one, and it's not worth it for us.
Yeah. How has
It's
your
also out of our season.
okay, I guess that brings me to a good question. What would a normal season look like? Not in times of like literally down to like the T, what does it look like? But like months wise, what does it look like for like community versus like all-star? Like what's the difference in time wise?
Well, community, so back in the day, we had a competition here called Set It Off that was always in the fall. So we would prepare for that maybe like, well,
August.
yeah, well, Hip Hop International was in August, and that's when USA and Worlds were back to back. So we just spent
Yeah.
a week at HHI. Between August and like October, November, when SIO was, we called it SIO. That's when we would prepare for that. No breaks. We would just literally take no breaks. After that, it would be either Ultimate Brawl, Bridge,
Bridge.
something in the springtime. Ultimate Brawl was always in like April-ish. And
And then Body Rock Vibe towards the end of
yeah.
where
And
before summer starts.
mhm.
And the problem with it is that we have to create a new set for each, mostly because the time frame of that, like, All Star, you create one routine and you run it from top until end
Yeah.
of day,
But here you have months between performances.
and they take long to produce, hours and hours of rehearsals.
4 or 5 minute sets rather than
Like a
what we do now is a
2
2-minute set.
Completely
No,
different,
it's
completely different
crazy.
stretch of routine.
Yeah.
What has your overall all-star experience been like? Like, what that transition going into all-star, I feel like, is very challenging, and all-star is just a very niche market to sell in general. So, like, what has that transition been like going into the all-star market?
To be honest, it was great for I mean,
Mhm.
us as coaches, we were used to it because we've been coaching in the varsity world for 10
Yeah.
years, or now it's 10 years. But for our dancers, it kind of took some practice with like knowing proper spacing and like knowing the score sheets and being on point with your fitness and all those things. But other than that, I think it's been great and the parents love it because it's like we like we say it's like club sports.
It was
Yeah.
easy for us to transition it to parents because they already knew that how impactful DDC was to like our dance realm. Like they were like, we want the DDC experience. We want it like this. I love that DDC did this. Diamondback Dance Crew, by the way, that's the high
Mhm.
school that
Those are the
coach at
races.
Desert Races High School. And so we're like, okay, well, we have a competition route that offers the same thing, the same collegiate experience, just not you don't
Not
have to go to
affiliated with
DO.
school. Yeah.
And so it was an easy sell. The dancers took some time to like filter through
Get
that, but I
acclimated.
mean, even that first year, we took like 4 or 5 national championships.
And I think our parents love, well, and I love because I am all about my calendar. I love that my dates are ready in
Yeah.
advance.
She's already planning next year. She has next year.
I have our studio plan next summer and the next season. So I'm like, it helps me to like feel
Even finished
organized.
season.
Yeah.
So I think that helps. It helps.
I get it. I get it. I'm very curious of like your opinion on the Vegas All-Star competition market because I feel like it's very similar to what we have going on in California. It's like very minimal competitions. I'm sure you guys like if you guys want to go to Worlds or go somewhere and to get a bid, you're going to have to travel somewhere far like California. To get, like, to any competitions, it would be just challenging, and I know, like, in
Yeah.
California market, it's still kind of going through that. I know, like, DTU's adding a competition here in California, so that kinda helps, but just in
Mm.
general, like, it is challenging to get to all-star competitions here.
Yeah, it is. And that's honestly why we've gone the route that we've taken the past 2 years. Like we went to NDA Dallas both years.
Mhm.
This past year we went to also the UDA All-Star. This year we couldn't make it to Dallas for NDA, but we're doing Spirit Sports in Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see you
Yeah.
there. That's kind of why we've done that is because everyone's like, you should go to Worlds, you should go to Worlds, but it's already such a task to travel to get those bids and to ask our parents to go to Florida as well as Dallas or as well as Palm Springs. Like we already go to Chaos as well for a training trip in November. So it's a big deal and it's a hard ask, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Summit just isn't something for us in Worlds. It's just not.
Not yet at
We've gotten
least.
bids, and the parents would be like, "Oh, why don't we go?" It's like, well, I have to ask you for more money, and it's a hard ask. It's a hard
Yeah,
ask.
it's not like we could just go, you
So
know.
what we would rather do is just commit to the one experience, which is our Orlando experience at UDA.
Yeah, and they loved it. Everyone had a great time. Like
I had fun. Disney World's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I am also waiting for you guys to go to Worlds.
Yeah.
Playground, you guys have
We've
such
heard,
yeah, you guys just have a different style amongst like a lot of competitors. So it's like refreshing and nice to see and nice to watch. And
Thank you so much.
thank you means a lot.
I yeah, no problem. I just love to see like what different looks like at these major
Mhm.
competitions. And so
I think that's
like
truly what
follow
we're
that.
going for. I think that's
Yeah.
what we're truly going for is to be different. We did that with DDC when we first showed up on the scene because we saw how hip hop was looking, hip hop, and we were like, nah, this can be different because competing in community, we already knew what the top tier level competitors looked
Yeah.
like, and we also competed against them or with them. So I think it's the shakeup that the all-star NDA UDA needs, and everyone's getting close and is getting smart to it. I'll talk to coaches and they'll be like, oh, I'm hiring community choreographers just because they have a better creative vision. They
Yeah.
might not get the score sheet, but that's where the coach comes in, and they can go, all right, I get the score sheet, I can fix this. Let me get the movement and let me get the idea from these choreographers, and then block it for for the choreography they gave. But I think that's where we kind of stand out is we can do both.
I want to start with the your guys' UDA experience, especially in the All-Star when you guys went. This was just 2025. That was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, a
Yeah.
couple months ago.
What was your guys' overall experience in that All-Star realm? Because I know UDA for All-Star and high school and college, like even though it's one company, they are all different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, UDA All-Star, I had a good experience personally. I think they took care of us pretty well. It was very organized backstage. The same experience we felt in high school, but coming to like the floor and score results, it was pretty consistent. I would say the market for UDA All-Star is smaller, so the sample size is like much more condensed. We don't have the vast, like we don't have 40, we don't have cohorts or anything like that. But from day to day, I felt like the scores represented really well what we were executing on the floor.
Yeah.
High school is a little different. I have a different opinion on that one. And then college, I have a completely different opinion on that. But there's inconsistencies between all three categories, whether you're all-star, high school, and college. And I think that it can get a little confusing, especially for someone who's trying to like win and
Yeah.
you
No,
follow
no
a score
kidding.
sheet to the T, you know? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. When you guys are building your routines for the season, now this could be choreography teams or playground routines. Are you guys looking at it at a score sheet perspective, or are you guys looking to just really try and stay as authentic to yourself as possible?
That first.
Yeah, that's always gonna be first in our
And
book.
then we shape. So
Yeah.
we get our vision out. Like even yet we had a rehearsal yesterday. Was I guess it was 2 days
Today we
Monday.
were there, yeah.
I was really ambitious with some of the movement, and me and the coaching staff just had a conversation like, hey, are we going too far? Is this going to read on the score sheets? And then we dial it back. So we go as far to the top as possible that we can,
And then we could revise
and
if
then
we
we
need to.
clean to the score sheet.
Yeah, and make sure all the boxes are still being checked, but while still not sacrificing our authenticity.
Yeah, because innovation is hard, especially in this realm, like UDA, NDA, with
Mhm.
the musical rules and the trick legalities and kind of the rubric that they expect from UDA, NDA routines. So us trying to innovate while staying true to ourselves is kind of a difficult thing. But I think the louder we yell how we love what we do, more people will believe it too.
For sure. Yeah. When it comes to UDA routines, now you said you have your different opinion for high school and college. You could combine them all into this answer if you would like. Can you find that UDA routines become a little formula approached? Like we're just trying to fit into this formula to score high, and we're not allowing that creativity and different to be looked at?
Yeah. I think it stems from, she said it best. It comes from college. College will fizzle to high school, and then the high school kind of just replicates what these other top placing high school teams do. So the top placing high school teams will hire the same choreographers as the college teams, and they'll try to replicate the same results that they got. And then those replications become telephone to another team that just saw who won first place at high school nationals. And it's just a big game of telephone to copy the copy. And
That is
personally, I
literally
think
how you
it's
summarize dance team to a T. Literally,
Yeah.
that summarizes dance team to a T. That's funny.
it stifles creativity. The music clauses,
Oh
the
yeah.
trick legalities, even coming straight down to the scoring, it stifles creativity because one judge can influence a score heavily, and then when you make those adjustments, the other judge sees it differently. So not only do we not want to rub one judge too far the one way or not give enough for another judge, you stay in this happy medium that doesn't really um, push the boundaries of what
Mhm.
a good routine can look and feel like. They see what wins, and so they copy paste because they want their season to be successful, not really embracing like kind of the rawness or the culture that is hip hop dance. I
Yeah.
think it's what's lacking.
Yeah. No kidding. Do you feel like it's getting a little too predictable, the outcome of results and competitions
I mean, you
in the
tell me,
UDA realm? Oh,
yeah, if
all
you
the
watch
time.
college nationals and you
All
watch
the
high schools, you like they're gonna win, they're gonna win, they're gonna win, they're gonna
Yeah.
win.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of like the way I feel about community comps. Like, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Gravy Babies, but I will never
Oh,
want to
for
compete against
sure.
them.
No, never.
Like, that's why I won't take Playground to Body Rock or Vibe Juniors anymore. Cause like I know Gravy's gonna win because they're just OP. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's kind of like the way that some people probably feel about the heavy hitter high schools and colleges that always like snag the top 3 every year.
And granted, we're not dissing any of the they're
Oh, no, for
good
sure.
teams because they
Yeah.
are good teams. They got it figured out. My issue is on the back end, on the scoring portion of this. What are we trying to develop in our competition route? Are we trying to make things more fair, or are we trying to push boundaries? And if it's one or the other, you have to let coaches know, hey, we're pushing forward with new boundaries, or hey, stay within this rubric so people know how to creatively put together routines. Because me as a choreographer, I struggle with that all the time because coaches will hit me up and say, well, the score sheet says this. It's like, well, I sat in a meeting for 4 hours listening to these judges go back and forth about what they're looking for, and I couldn't tell you what the end result of it was.
Now, NDA, you guys, what when I was listening to Bree's podcast, she was talking about it, or she mentioned it. Oh, one of my lights just went out. You guys went to NDA Nationals one time, won, and then never went back. What's the story with that? And as you guys say it, by the way, I'm gonna listen, but I'm gonna plug in my lights that way I can.
No, you're
Sure
fine.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was a scheduling thing. We did not jump
Yeah.
ship for NDA to UDA because of
Yeah, we're not like, I don't want to say we're competition hoppers. It was just scheduling
Scheduling.
because the year after we won NBA, they changed the dates. And this is like one of the gripes I have with NBA is that they're always changing dates every year, I feel like. Um, so it fell on our spring break in which some of our seniors already had like senior trips planned or cruises that they planned like 2 years prior and this and that. So we were like, okay, so UDA might be the better fit for us because it was a month earlier.
And then yeah, the story's true. We used to compete at Conscious of Champions for years. That was like our just competition nationals route. It was Conscious of Champions, and we can, that's a whole other tangent that we don't need to discuss.
I'm
'Cause
writing it down
I-
so I remind myself to ask.
Yeah.
Conscious of
I-
Champions,
I'm fairly new to Contest of Champions, so yeah.
Okay.
it's what we did for at least for the 4 years before.
6 years.
We did 6 years of Conscious of Champions with DO. Well, freak. Okay, so
Wow.
way too long. And then we transferred to NDA because Bree actually we started communicating at the time. We were just like, hey, we just want more support. Like we want a community to like.
Because we were the only ones from Vegas going to Contest of Champions.
Yeah.
It would be sometimes on the same weekend as either UDA or
Yeah, and so we were like, well, I want a fair shot at what we can do, and I like the scoring pace because we were used to it at our regionals. So we took a chance at it. We had a good senior cast. We had
and they were, I don't know if you know Aiden, he's like our assistant
Yeah.
director now. That was his senior year, and he was like the captain / like transitioning into being a coach as well. So he really like led that team to success as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, we
And
had
he
a stack.
coaches that team too now, right?
Yes. No, he transitioned out.
He's like our assistant director at the studio now
Yeah.
and with Playground, like basically our right hand man.
He does everything.
If you could summarize NDA scoring in hip hop, or I guess in any general category, palm, kick, if you could summarize it, how would you summarize NDA scoring? I don't quite understand.
Safe.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's very like linear.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
No,
I-
it does
I'm-
make sense.
On the terms of like formula, I feel like NDA has a formula
Okay.
that all the hip hop teams follow. Not necessarily like maybe like copying from colleges. Some might.
I see it. Yeah.
There's always like one team that like does something different and they get rewarded for it. But for the most part, a lot of those teams look the same. And I think this is my issue when people hire us. They're like, well, we want to look like Desert Oasis. We want to look like your Playground team with the blue jerseys and whatever. And I'm just like, we'll give you the content, but if you're just gonna clean it to look like all the other teams that you compete against, it looks no different than a regular standard NBA team, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Why do you think it is that like a team can go to a UDA nationals competition, and then one week go to an NDA nationals competition, Routine looks the same cleans, no changes. Next, we go to a DTU national competition, and all scores are different.
Okay, well, NDA, UDA, they're under the same umbrella, so there should be a
Correct.
consistency in scoring. So
Right.
DT is an outlier in this.
And that is part one. That is right. I am going to make you wait until next week to get all the tea, all the gossip, all the hot, juicy content that came out of this interview. I'm just kidding. But in reality, yes, I am making you wait till next week to get part two. This was a great interview. A lot of information, but it is also a very long interview. It was 1 hour long of an interview. Okay, it's a lot. I'm not going to make you sit through an hour and 45 minutes of it of a episode. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on all social media platforms, and I will see you next week.